In the past few decades, technology has become increasingly pervasive in daily life. This new information age has ushered in a host of advancements and improvements to everyday activities. All of life has been impacted greatly, and this new web of information and ideas has changed the modern political landscape greatly. The relatively new introduction of mass media has made the spread of ideas much faster and more visible, but has also given rise to the spread of misinformation, fake news, and propaganda. The widespread use of social media allows for far more voices to be heard across the globe, but has also lent itself to creating a mob mentality. With clever legislation and smarter users, we can create an information age that leverages the positives of mass media. In a democratic system, the government is of the people, by the people, and for the people. Usage of mass media in democracy and other political systems is found to increase citizens' overall feeling of political efficacy. Prior to the information age, a voter's ability to interact with their candidates was limited by the spread of information, which has traditionally been slow and cumbersome. The introduction of faster modes of communication and the faster dispersal of information has led to an increase in constituent-politician interactivity. A group of researchers investigating the links between social media use and social capital have found that with the advent of social media, the average political behaviors have changed. Mass media use has been associated with higher feelings of political efficacy and rises in overall social capital. Through new technology, citizens have more ability to discuss, think, and interact with one another.
The political elite that determine the direction of democracies have existed before recent advancements in technology. It is unsurprising that as communication was augmented, so too was the participation of the political elite. Researchers estimate a roughly 40% increase in political participation between those that have access to the internet and those that don't. This surge includes offline participation, showing that people are more likely to all around be more motivated and involved in the political landscape. Pennsylvania state researcher Dr. John M. Carroll found that, quote, being aware of public sentiment encouraged people to more actively participate in discussions on social media, end quote. Technology is encouraging political interaction across platforms and distances, yet with this comes unexpected consequences. Carroll uncovered a surprising belief toward increased technological participation. Interestingly, although being aware of public sentiment served to reaffirm people's positions on the local topics, users expressed concerns about how sentiment awareness might bias other people's judgments regarding news topics. Carroll was beginning to unveil some of the detriments technological growth is having in politics.
Mass media can also be used as a weapon of fear to exert control. Communication theorist David Altidy reports that, quote, the discourse of fear or the pervasive communication, symbolic awareness, and acceptation that danger and risk are a central feature of everyday life has become essentially adopted as the prevailing logic of the ubiquitous condition of the world, end quote. Altidy describes a new phenomenon within the digital age known as media fear, the rapid spread of mass panic due to the accessibility and conformity of various social media services. It is believed today that many countries around the world are taking advantage of mass media to push political agendas and as a means of control over citizens' attitudes. The spreading of mass hysteria and fear raises many ethical questions, however, and despite the claims of countries like the United States that it is used for social good, many other powers use mass media manipulation for the spread of malicious propaganda. Social media developments have greatly influenced the opinions and attitudes of citizens worldwide. The proposed use of new technology to enhance and streamline the voting process also has many implications in security and risk of election fraud. Whilst e-voting can increase voter turnout and speed up the vote counting process, information systems are especially vulnerable to attack. In an old system, each individual must physically be present in the voting center and cast a paper ballot. This makes fraud especially hard because for each vote that one would like to influence, another person must be in on the operation. All it takes is one individual to report the behavior and the whole scheme comes down. With the electronic votes, influencing one vote and influencing 1,000 votes takes essentially the same amount of time and effort, and any single individual or corporation could potentially influence as many as they like. Certain precautions should be taken by modernized governments and all tech users to mitigate any harm of the growing technological revolution. In her article in the Texas Tech Law Review, Larissa Litsky outlines the negative effects that mass media can have, stating, quote, the internet in general and social media in particular amplify the potential for speech to cause violence simply by magnifying the opportunities for contextual dislocation, end quote. Litsky then goes on to recommend that governments review their doctrines pertaining to legal speech and expression and consider updating them to coexist with modern trends. However, not all burdens of technological advancement are the centralized government's responsibility. Social media and internet have placed more power in the hands of individuals than ever before. To prevent the effects of mass fear and propaganda spreading through social media, it is encouraged that users do fact checks and cross-reference their sources. Social media, while it can provide an invaluable information source, is ground zero for fake news and propaganda. By fact-checking, the users put the power back into their hands, deciding not to be controlled by the inflammatory rhetoric prevalent on sites like Twitter and Facebook. The internet is a huge bank of knowledge, but it is important to scrutinize the information and question its authenticity. The detriments of increased technological prevalence in politics can be subsided with appropriate behavioral corrections, and they are certainly offset by the incredible benefits this technology is presenting to the world. Despite the current risks, democracy is more democratic. People are participating and influencing their governments at an unseen rate, this being, optimistically, the beginning of the end for governmental corruption and injustice. Progress will never cease, thus benefits and detriments must be accepted as they arise, and corrections must be made to ensure the overall welfare of society. To be a Luddite can never be recommended. Advancements that have been made are here to stay, and it's important for everyone to coexist with them. Be smart, be safe, and stay smart.